to DWTT. I am Gary. This is our, as I call the summer spot, or summer stop, actually. Not the trip, but the stop. So this is our midsummer or our first show of the summer. So we'll go ahead and get started. First off, I've got welcome back, Sam. How are you doing?
Good evening, Gary, and everyone else. Nice to see you guys.
Cool. And then we've got right below him, we've got Mr. Tom. How are you doing?
Greetings to everyone out there in the YouTube land.
Nice. And then in the witness protection program, we've got he used to go by the name of Tony, but now it's Wilfred. I just made that up. So Wilfred, tell us about what's going on with you.
Turn the sound on, Wilfred.
Oh, jeez. First is no video, now there's no sound.
So,
Tony will
are
get
we
this
just
sorted
talking
out.
to the chalk outline of Tony for the rest?
He's like his face has been hidden, so he's one of those. He's on a documentary, can't be shown.
Yes.
All right. You see, Steve is in the house. Steve, welcome. I was just testing this thing out yesterday, and Steven from Canada jumped in and
Wilfred's
said hello.
about to tell everyone where he was touched.
And then now we've got lights, we've got power, and next thing I know, I had a full blown show going. So
Wilfred's going to tell us where Hoffa's buried.
All right, go ahead, tell to us. Can you talk to us? No.
You know he's talking because you know he can't just sit there in silence. You know he.
Got to figure this out. Wilfred, what's the CIA not paying this for you?
What's going on? Did they give you Wi-Fi?
CIA is cheaping you on the Wi-Fi.
I see him smiling, but I don't see the lips moving, so I can't tell if he's actually saying something.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes. Oh, look at that.
Yes, turning on the microphone will help.
Why are you inventing things? You said about 20% of that is what you actually said.
Thank you everybody for joining us. We'll do this again in a week, hopefully we'll do it in a week. We'll see about that. I'll let you guys know. I'll put the warning up there. So, as I always like to say, life is a journey.
Business done, so we can have a show.
Outro, Tony. Shut it. Life is a journey. Enjoy the ride. We'll do this thing again. Everybody say, and we're out, and we'll do this again. See ya. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the trip.
Who's that?
That was I guess you didn't see the Saturday show. So that Saturday show, that was the 100th road trip. So I decided to go back all the way back to the beginning when it was actually called Summer Stop. And then a couple of shows later, I decided, hey, why don't I just change? Road trip sounds better. And so I just changed it to road trip. So first couple of shows, it was called Summer Stop. And then after that, it was the road trip. And then it's been that way ever since. So I decided.
Tony, you've aged. That's all I'm going to say, Tony. You've aged.
All right. So welcome to the show.
That's what happens.
No. First off, Tony, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Doing all right. Went to the hand doctor today, so of course I have to have another surgery on top of a shoulder surgery I need. Yay!
Hey. And as you call it, Monday. Yeah. And
I still don't know why I got 3 captions. The package.
dude, you know what? It was when I was like, all right, I'll just show the intro, and then I was like, you know what? The intro is basically, yeah, I dedicated it to you, Tony. You didn't even speak for like most of it, and but it kind of made sense why it was like that. I guess Spencer decided he didn't want to chat, but Lonzo, how are you doing, sir?
Hi, Gary. Thanks for having me on the show. Yeah, I'm doing all right, despite everything else going on.
All right. Well, hopefully everything else going on is good. It will get better. Let's just say that. Sorry. Hopefully it gets better. And yes, so hopefully you know what it is now. But Spencer, how are you doing?
I'm just enjoying a Monday.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes. So say hi to Stefan. Brownie, no, it wasn't a repeat. Welcome to the show. I was just checking. I was just replaying the video because I like the video, and you know,
Can you hang up a few more lights in your house, Spencer?
making fun of Tony's.
I'm just a beacon of light.
Yeah. Yeah, you got the link. All right, everyone. So, yes. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see if Mr. Tom will join us. I don't know if you said it, if it sucked or not, but we changed it for the better, right? Stephen from Canada joins us. Canada, one of the probably the best team in the Americas, outside of Argentina, of course. But as far as going deep in the tournament, they did better than anybody else. And I don't know what this means, Stefan. And then there you go. Stefan says Alonso is finally outed as the schlag. He really is. So there you go. All right. So here we go. International football is officially over now.
Hooray!
Now we can start talking about transfers. No, so yeah, that's exactly the response I expected to get. Silence. You're not sure what you want to get out of that. The only team that I've seen doing any business, anyways, has been Leeds. So surprisingly, Mr. Tom's not here. But they're only team selling out there and actually getting, And yes, beautiful day for you. Oh yeah, it's a beautiful day. Yes, Brownie's happy. England is sad. That's why he's happy. A lot of people are happy England didn't do a job. And I guess we'll start there. How about it? We start there. England, second final in a row in the Euros. Second loss in a row. You can blame everybody you want, but I think it starts at the top. Southgate. I think the players are the main reason they got to the finals. But I think Southgate didn't help them. He needed to actually do something himself to help this team, and he didn't. So it's definitely a Southgate issue for me. I think the players did. I think some people say it doesn't matter who you bring in, he's probably going to screw it up anyways. You bring Messi in, he's gonna have Messi playing as a defender or something like that, just because he's really good with the ball at his feet or something. But yeah, England loses again. Not like they were going to lose easily, but then they actually made a comeback and then lost it late. Tony, since you didn't watch it, right? You don't watch international football, so you don't know what happened. So can I move? Even though you didn't.
I know what happened, or I can at least talk about England. Talent only gets you so far. You have to have the right coach in place. You've seen Belgium waste the probably best generation they'll have in a long time. And England's on track to do the same thing. If I was England, I wouldn't wait until the end of the year when they're supposed to talk to Southgate. Just get him out of there. There's plenty of managers, whether you go to the Premier League or former Premier League managers. Lots of people that know football better than Southgate.
That is probably true. Some people will say, guess what? The man's gotten further than most English managers and coaches.
Yeah, I was reading that yesterday. There, people comment, and it's like, nope, he still isn't good.
Yeah, no, I think the English talent overshadows his, is the reason why he's done so well. But he needed some help. So Spencer, I don't know. Did you get a chance to watch the finals?
I didn't watch any of them.
Didn't watch any of them, even the Argentinian one, huh?
Nope. I just didn't. I didn't get a chance. There's other stuff going on. I was more preoccupied with this weekend.
Yeah.
I was coming back from the rugby game, of course. So I didn't get in until about 7:00 Saturday. So
Okay.
yeah, really didn't watch any football this weekend. To be fair,
True.
just play rugby.
Yep. 4 Americans. Hey, I got my passport. Not my passport, but my birth certificate says I'm English. So leave me alone. And it's the same as your birth certificate. So step off. But yes, Lonzo. I guess you did watch along. What do you think about first thoughts on that on the game?
Disappointed really, because I'm being optimistic whenever I watch England play, but it's kind of a letdown, of course. When you have Southgate, he to me doesn't use the players to their best abilities. Again, you play Saka at right back this time, right wing back, and that's not his position. And I think Southgate tries to incorporate a lot of players that are on the bench, and he brings them on very late, or he tries to have them in different positions, and it's hard to have a dynamic like that. And he brings on players that don't get a chance to play, but then he still has faith that something will be great or do a goal or an assist will do wonders, like a Phil Foden who disappeared. Seems like, and it seems like Harry Kane didn't do well enough in this tournament. Seems like a lot of things went wrong and not enough things went right. Though there were some standouts, I'm sure we'll talk about later. I think Mark Gahey did a good enough job to hold the defense, as well as John Stones. Though Kyle Walker is kind of a guy who, to me, let down England the most. It seems like him and Harry Kane. I don't know. It's just kind of a struggle to understand what happened. You could blame Southgate for trying to do too much formation-wise. And it didn't work out, obviously. But, you want to hope for the future because there were some young kids on that team that could be on a team for a long time, it seems like. So with that said, I think whoever comes in for England has to know these players and know to get the best out of the players and not waste opportunities that they're given.
Very true. Very true. And Stefan has a quote here. How can you get to a final and not really want to score? How the bloody hell does that work? Yeah. I mean, I think the biggest strengths for England were on the attacking side. You wouldn't know it. One of the worst teams as far as XG, if you know what XG means. And behind Croatia, and they didn't even make it this far. So basically, even though they play an extra 3 games, meant nothing as far as they still couldn't attack, and that's on. Some of that's on Southgate. Some of that's not being clinical. I think he coaches that out of them. A coach can do that. That's why you see sometimes. I mean, how does Chelsea win the Champions League, right? Coach comes in with a different idea, and next thing you know, they're rolling and they do good in the tournament, right? This guy's had these players. He's been 4 or 5 years now. He's been seeing these same players, not been able to get anything out of them. Got the top scorer in Germany, one of the top attackers in England, another one of the top creators or, playmakers in Italy. Is it Italy? No,
Liga. It's
Spain. So, yeah, and he's found a way to figure out how to not get it to work. All right. Saka's one of the, probably the more consistent players. He's not a Vinny or a Salah or anything like that, but he is consistent. And we know you know what you're going to get out of him. He's figured out a way to even neutralize him to some degree. I don't think anybody can say any one of these players played at their level, you know, and they needed to. You know, the top players should be playing at their level. I mean, that's how the game was finished off, right? Vinny made the difference at the end, getting a run off. And before we continue on, we'll let Mr. Tom join and say hello to everyone. Mr. Tom, how are you doing?
Hello.
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 I
could not allow this to stand. Not allow it to stand.
Yeah, you can't let it stay. But now it's not for Americans. It's we got a Brit, a true Brit in here as well. So all that goes out the window. Whoever said that, whoever this Mr. Tom fraud is, you know, copycat.
I think he makes a lot of sense, personally. Some would say. And it's without the sarcasm that usually comes. Sorry, what's that, Tony? Oh, it must be Tony because someone's talking. Go on, Tony. What have you got to say, sir?
I just said sometimes.
Yeah, but the floor is yours now, sir. Feel free to fill it with sound instead of just waiting for when other people are filling it with sound.
You're good to go, Tough.
Yeah, you get to go until the thought will come to him once you start talking.
Oh, when he wants to talk, it supersedes everything. You can all laugh uncomfortably, but you know I'm right.
Only if you let him get to you.
Yeah, you let him get to you.
You just got to push through. What does the drill do when it hits dirt?
Truth. Sorry, it was rude of me.
No, I interrupted you. See, keep going.
Tom,
see?
I'll go ahead and go. Because 2 years of this did not fucking work. So when I have to say something, it has to be said.
It's important.
Gary will talk.
You've been talking
Stan
for like 30
hours.
seconds, and it's been total filler. Nothing, dude. You know what? That's why. See, everybody's like,
"You want filling in your pie?"
Nothing's
Gary?
changed. Nothing's changed in about in 2 years. Did you see the? For those who saw the video at the beginning of the show, voila, that's it.
He acts like he spent 2 years politely putting his hand up and being ignored. It's fucking bollocks. You're spinning lies. I'm literally here at 00:45 on a Monday night / Tuesday morning, and you're hitting me with lies.
Nope. Go watch the fan circle before Gary starts.
Oh, jeez, here we go.
I always raise my hand.
You stopped doing
I'm going to the past again.
You don't do it anymore. So it's just
right.
it's just our shows. You don't do it on it. You don't raise your hand.
That's a lie. He's never done that.
I do remember him doing it. I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen it. Yeah, Misfit. Yeah. If England was in the other draw, they probably would have been one of those first round out.
Sorry, it was rude of me. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm hyped.
And Stefan is really going out on a limb here. Tony actually spitting facts. Yeah. The difference is that Belgium has had 3 different managers during their so-called golden generation, and they have nothing to show for it. So it doesn't matter if it's 3, doesn't matter if it's 1. All right? It doesn't matter if it's the right one. Yep, set up negatively in a final. That was I said that on the show. And maybe you guys can chat on this. Every one of those players that played yesterday is used to 60-70% possession, and somehow he's figured out a way to turn that into, all right, you guys are going to get the ball 30% of the time, make it work. How is that? Tell me, Tony.
I don't know. It doesn't make sense. It's like he's borrowed from the Lego logics of Arteta. A lot of it, if you cut what we're saying about England, the same could be said about Arsenal. Because talent only takes you so far. But
I disagree with that, Tony.
I don't know why you changed tactics to
How
play
many seven
possession
games have you
football.
watched? Sorry, it was rude of me to interrupt, but it was a question that was burning it during this. How much of it have you seen?
How many what? English games?
How much of it have you seen?
I've seen England play before, Tom.
No, the Euros.
I'm not
The
asking
Euros.
you to tell me about England in 1982. Tell me about England in 2024. How many of the 7 games did you see?
0.
God, Tony.
In
I'm
Tony's
not saying he's
defense,
not
though,
entitled.
in
I'm
Tony's
not saying he's
defense,
not entitled to his opinion. I'm just.
I mean, Tom, it's pretty funny. Sometimes they'll be like, Gary will be like, "Hey, did you watch the Arsenal game?" Tom will be like, "Nah."
No, but I'm openly going, nah.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to sit here and waste all your time. He's sitting there talking like he watched every minute of the 7 games. Even though we all know everything he's coming from.
Spencer, you know what, Spencer? You came to the wrong man's defense.
When we started,
the guy's still got his
Gary,
hand
how did
stuck
we
in the
start
cookie
the
jar.
show?
He's still stuck in there.
You were to skip me because you asked me how much football I watched, and I said none.
And you still got to answer.
I know.
Because you know what, Mr. Tom doesn't watch any Arsenal, but he gets to chat. All right, I'll let you chat too.
It's still
But
funny.
Mr. Tom wants to go after you, so that's how that worked. Anything else you got to say, Tony?
Nope.
All right, you shut him up.
I'll wait until we finish, Gary.
No. All right, Spencer, talk to me. Tell me, how does a man take the quality of players that England has, get them out of their system and play a totally different system, and not even play that with the right players in the right spots?
Just straight pure incompetence. That's all I got. Pure incompetence.
Yeah, it just makes no sense, right? So all you got to say, you don't want to chat either.
I'm ready to move on to Arsenal. I ain't gonna lie, Gary. I'm being courteous, bro. I didn't watch. I watched about 4 of England's games, 4 or 5, I think.
So you know the gist.
I've seen it.
Too many.
I have an opinion that's not going to be popular with everybody else. So I just want to bite my tongue because I want to move on to Arsenal.
Cool. We'll get there. We will get there. The only time Tony raises his hand is when it's gone from the base.
I said don't read that.
I know you did. Sorry. God, Brownie. Yeah.
Part of the reason I'm going at Tony is because I'm jealous. Because I watched the games and I wish I hadn't.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Tony will be on Sky Sports. He'll be on Sky Sports. They'll have him at the stadium, but they have him not even looking at. They have him looking at the wall, telling you about how the football is going on behind him.
I'll just be outside with the stadium looking at statues or something. Counting the bricks.
All right, Lonzo, talk to me. Tell me, how does a man coach his team that way?
So I don't know how Tony compares Arteta Southgate. Anyway, so whenever I saw the lineup, right, I kind of thought that Southgate was going to try to play more defensively, and was having three at the back and 4 midfielders, basically 2 number 10s and Harry Kane, and it didn't work out because again, Spain had most of the possession, and England had, I think, 30% of the possession. So yeah, I just saw Harry Kane going walkabout almost most of the match, and then I saw Foden doing his usual, "Oh, I'm not going to touch the ball today," and just really disheartening. I kind of had an idea on how this game was going to go, because it seemed like Southgate was going to line up defensively and hope for the best for the counterattack. And again, Saka was all by himself there and on the right, and it didn't come about until the very end of the game where Saka, passed it to Bellingham, and Cole Palmer got off a good shot. But at the end of the day, I'm sure we had no faith in Southgate's ability to close out games, because their scoring record wasn't that great to begin with. Because they left it too late, like most of the games, and so it's just a letdown, I think, of how Southgate managed the game. he didn't bring on no players at the end. He waited too long to bring on substitutions. He brought on Ivan Toney, I believe, in the 86th minute, expecting to perform an utter miracle. And it was just a mess. Luke Shaw did his best, but he wasn't fully fit. They could use Joe Gomez at some point during that tournament. Did not. He could have brought in Eze. He could have brought in Anthony Gordon. It was just really, really bad because of that scoring goals. And when you needed it the most, it didn't happen.
I hear you. I mean, the substitutions actually worked, right? When he brought Cole Palmer on,
Yeah.
3 minutes later he scores. So the substitutions actually did their job. It's just a matter of reason why you need to probably bring on more substitutions is because that first goal highlighted how this game was going to play out, and that's how they scored in the last goal. Same thing, come up the left hand side, off the left hand side, they score again, and he didn't. I think heed the warning that guess what, your back line needs either some young legs to keep up or something different because it wasn't working. So yeah. So he made the substitutions, and Cole Palmer pretty much is delivered when he's come on. Makes you wonder, everybody's like Cole Palmer in, Saka out. No, I don't even think that's not really the issue. I think it's Cole Palmer in and somebody else out. But however they wanted to play, if Saka's out, fine. But Cole Palmer, delivered. Ollie Watkins delivered. Tony delivered. Most of the other attackers did not on a regular basis, especially considering where they stand in the game of football. Top 3 players in each individual league, right? Did not show up, right? Yeah. He's figured out a way. He's a kryptonite for good football players. That's basically what it is. Take a good football player, add Southgate. Just a normal.
How long has he been
footballer.
in charge now?
Sounds like 8 years is what I think I saw.
Too long. Yeah,
8 years.
He was appointed in 2016, I believe.
How do you keep watching the same thing happen over and over again and not make a change?
Insanity.
Well, no. See, the important thing is, I did read some things that put this into context, right? And you're all going to say that I'm mental for saying this, because I'm not happy with how that tournament went. But the reality is that in 30 years' time, people are going to look back on this and go, you know what? That England team, that era where they just got to semi-final, final, quarter-final, final, that was really good. It was really... Now, I know that sounds mental on the surface, but no one looks... But it's just weird how people look back and like, what are we comparing it to when we say it wasn't good? To other England teams that underperformed also, because generally we've not been good for a long time in the context of, like, for example, Alan Shearer has been criticising the England performance, and that's well within his right, but this is an Alan Shearer that did worse than this England team. He led an England team to a group stage exit at Euro 2000 and then retired. And he's going to sit there going, "Oh, this ain't good enough." I mean, it ain't good enough. But look at who's saying it. And I know you think I'm defending them. I'm just contextualising how this will probably hold up.
You know what? This, and as we will transition into our clubs and stuff like that. This could be the same thing with Arteta, right? For how many years has Arsenal not been competing for titles in the Premier League? In back-to-back years, Arteta's done that. If he does it, I personally, he cannot do it a third time. He cannot get second again and keep his job. I think I always say 3 strikes and you're out. I don't really like to get to the point where you get the third chance, but he's going to get that third chance. So, but
I'm not defending it.
No,
I
no,
want to be
no.
clear,
What you're
I'm
saying,
not
you know, what you're saying,
defending
to me, it's the same thing. Like you're gonna look back at it and go, because if this continues, for example, Arteta leaves and they go back through another cycle of managers, and they look at the peak, you're gonna go, oh, that was really good, and you're gonna go, well, no, that's not good. And the same thing
Uh,
with this. You're gonna look at these players, because think about it, you're gonna look at all these players outside of Harry Kane, and you're gonna go treble winner. You're gonna go Champions League winner. You're gonna go Bundesliga winner. You're gonna go all these things. All right, maybe not Bundesliga, but you're gonna go players that have won a lot, are gonna win a lot of trophies, and then you're gonna look at their international, careers and go, how they win nothing. That's where they are right now. They've won nothing.
the reality is, right, and people ain't gonna like to hear this, but we've had some of the best talent, and we've sent them out there and let them loose, and they underperform. But because they tried to attack a bit, everyone is like, yeah, it's fine, but that's not the real truth. Because that even at the time, it ain't like we all sat here and went, oh yeah, this was great, and it was no, they got booed relentlessly. There would always be one that was picked to blame and that the newspaper would like hone in on or something. There's always one. Like we're acting like this team's the worst team ever, and it's clearly not. It's actually one of the best.
Yeah.
Results wise.
Results wise, yes.
Which ultimately is what matters.
True. But these aren't the results. End up with your arms in the air. Say hi to Dad. Joins us. Also, Rosie joins us. Rosie's happy as well. She's in the same camp as Brownie. They're happy that England did not bring it home. Have a good night's sleep. Thank you for liking and subscribing. For those who haven't, please do that, because Rosie said so. But anything else, Mr. Tom?
Yeah, I'll put it an easier way. I woke up this morning, and while objectively it's disappointing, some may even say crushing, the first thing I actually did was, what's the latest Leeds news? Because that's what actually matters to me. And your own clubs are what actually matter to you. So all the sitting here and going, oh, Southgate needs to be put in a cannon and fired into a wall, it's just disingenuous, in my opinion. Like 20 minutes after the game. Like longer than 20 minutes after the game. Because it ain't what you all really care about.
Yeah, but you said he should have been fired a long time ago. So he just got better players.
Yeah, objectively, maybe he should have been. It's like, did I want Marcelo Bielsa sacked? You'll never find a person on earth who has said I wanted Marcelo Bielsa sacked, but I understood why he was. You can't concede like 12 goals in 6 days and keep your job. You just can't. Even when they asked him, why don't you just set up more defensively? And he went, no, I'll play the way I play. They're like, all right, well, if you want to live by the sword and all that. I still disagree with the decision, but it's what it is, Tony.
I hear that. Mr. Tony, anything you got to say before as we transition away from English football?
No, just like I said, you just keep seeing the same thing. I don't know what people expect. He's going to miraculously become a better coach. Wrong tactics during that game reminds me of earlier when Arsenal would play City. We would set up defensively, give them 70% of a possession, then we eventually break down defensively. Then there's a goal, then there's another goal, and it's a 2-1 or 3-1 game or whatever. Just get a better manager in, and maybe you can make use of this great talent you got.
Yeah. I mean, for a manager who's watching, Kyle Walker on his last legs, Luke Shaw not really played much, and then going, you know what, it's time to win the finals. Let's continue to play with them. And then also, for me the best defense is an offense, and we didn't do that either. So yeah, playing defense when you're defensively frail, not good. Spencer, the man, basically played into Spain's hands, gave them what they wanted, which was a lot of possession, and eventually it didn't hold up. Anything from Spencer? He's muted. All right, Lonzo.
I got
Last.
Yeah, I mean, I think. Sorry.
Should here we go. Should Southgate get a third try at the World Cup?
Gosh, no. I spent most of my time when England were playing. I'd be watching a watch along or on Ryan's watch along yesterday with you guys, with you and Tom and Liam and Ryan and Mark. And, we were all complaining about Kyle Walker and Trippier for a certain extent and, Harry Kane. And we all noticed that every former Spurs player or current Spurs player should never be on England's team ever again, because Ryan had told us that the last time England won a World Cup, there was no Spurs ties to the team. And maybe that's a coincidence, maybe not, but I think Southgate needs to look further than former Spurs players. And so what I mean by that is there's set up to maybe have that mentality where they're not going to win. The Walker's won at City, yeah, I get that, but it's time to move on from players that are older now. I think having Walker at the center back position or third center back, he's not tall enough, so he's forced to go forward and stay back, and it cost him that yesterday. I think Southgate tends to be loyal to those players, and I think there's some still young players in that team that could be useful in the coming years or coming tournaments. So right now it's a transition, I guess. It'd be hard to believe the reason why Southgate would stay, but I think enough's enough, and I think hopefully when it's all said and done, that Van White will get a look at right back, and that would be one of many changes I think would be acceptable the next coming tournament, I hope.
True.
I mean, I'm hoping Southgate stays, or I don't. I'm just tired of hearing people talk about England. The group chats are annoying and insufferable. Everything is Southgate's fault.
You want Southgate to stay?
I don't know at this point. It's just if a new manager comes in and they don't win the next World Cup, it'll be that manager's fault too. It's just going to be the same broken record, and it's going to happen as long as we keep doing this. It'll be the manager's the reason England didn't win, and it's just tiring.
Is 8 years not enough time to figure out whether this is the man for the job,
or
you think you should go another 8 years to figure that out? Would you be happy?
Would you be happy with that?
You brought in a quarterback in your team, and you were happy to let him go after 2 years. So I know you like change for the betterment of the team.
Yeah, but I didn't blame Peyton for it. I sent Russell Wilson packing.
Well, right now Southgate is the problem, so Southgate should go packing.
They'll bring in another manager and they won't win, and he'll be the problem.
Yeah, well, you know what? As Chris Nix, who joins the show, says, there are good coaches out there, world-class coaches out there that might be available. This is the same situation Arsenal was in at some point, where they could have said, you know what, Klopp might be available. Maybe we bring him in after Wenger.
United States already tried. They already asked Klopp.
Yeah.
They already approached him, and Klopp went, thanks, but no thanks.
Well, trying to say that USA requesting Klopp services and an England squad who he's actually competed against and knows a bit about, it might be a little bit different. Not saying he'll say yes, but he knows a little bit about those players already.
I'm just saying what allegedly happened.
Yeah, no.
Should he have said yes to the USA? I think he wants a little bit of rest.
Yeah. I don't think USA is in a state where they can bring on a manager like Klopp. I think it's just like, nah.
They can always ask.
Yeah.
Nah, it'll be
The United States is the desperate dude on Tinder that's just pressing right on everybody and hoping that somebody will say yes. That's exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
They allegedly, again, the key word is allegedly, because the only source on this is Jesse Marsh. And personally, I wouldn't trust Jesse Marsh with anything, even if I witnessed it. But at the same time, allegedly, twice the United States Football Federation, or whatever you call it, was very disrespectful to him. Now, I'm not saying they were wrong to be disrespectful to him. If anything, I think he's earned that disrespect. But you can't even convince Jesse Marsh to manage her.
You know, and that's the for me. I always look at it the same way. I was like, okay, so tell me this: the women's team went out there, and some will say, well, they got a donkey for a manager, but they probably got one of the better managers out there, right? Coming from a winning program, a winning club.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now there is something to say about the attitude and stuff like that, but you know what? Maybe they need that. Maybe they need that. But I mean, it is you've seen the players that come out of Chelsea and they have all played well, even when they have injuries. We don't see that too often. Yeah. Ask the women's team. You know, every time a player went down for Chelsea, it didn't really matter. They still competed. Yeah. So
they only won that league because you beat Man City.
Hey, we had our chances to win that league, and we didn't do it earlier in the season. And we had that the season before that as well. Multiple times we had a chance to do it ourselves. Finally showed up late. All right. So
Brownie, it wasn't I was quite happily sitting here roasting Jesse Marsh.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Brownie, you love women, but all of a sudden we can't talk about women's sports. I don't get it. We can talk about everybody here. Everybody gets to talk. Everybody gets to chat. Yeah. So you leave it out, buddy. We can talk about whatever we want. Buddy. Yeah. Step. Yeah.
Hey, buddy. I'm not your guy, buddy.
You should have just said, but I always like my bud better than my buddy when you're like, trying to kind of have a little dig on him.
You're Southgate in, but it's time for a handover. Yeah. No, I understand. You know what? Do they need a world-class manager or somebody who actually plays football to the strengths of their players? How about that? Do you really need a world-class player to say, guess what? You've got Bellingham, you've got Foden. They like to play maybe in certain same areas. Maybe we can't. Who's the better of the two to play in those areas? Or do we switch things around and make it better for both of them? Yeah. You play them out of position and you weaken your side. You weaken the players, right? You get setting them up to fail, and guess what? They fail. And then people want to say, oh no, he's got them out, the best players out there. What about the best team? The best players in the right positions. But we have continued on. It's time to move on. So we did bring up Arsenal multiple times, and even Mr. Tom brought out Leeds multiple times. It is now transfer time. Mr. Tom, since your team has made what seems to be the first transaction on this thing here, the legitimate one. I think you sold a player. I think I saw Kamara is officially gone.
Who? Sorry.
Kamara, is that his name? Kamara?
That's not actually been officially named though, but apparently we've managed to net a profit on a player that we only bought last year, which takes some doing in the championship. Actually, apparently, as well as basically convincing Brendan Aronson to stay, and by convincing, what I mean is there was no one in for him. And that's not digging him out because he's American. It's digging him out because he's shit. And because he is. He hasn't shown me anything. That didn't sound PG. Anyway. But he could be good in the championship. We'll find out. But we've also had some big news today. Allegedly, we've had a bid, first bid rejected for Jayden Bogle of Sheffield United. Again, you may laugh, but could be a good player in the championship. because you need good players in the championship. Believe it or not, like you can't just click your fingers and get out of it. But still, at the same time, we've also managed to convince Max Verber and Rasmus Christensen to stay at the club. They both played in the European tournament, so potentially a good players to have in defence. Plus, we needed someone to replace Archie Gray, the midfielder that we played at right back for 46 games.
There you go. That's a lot of business. All right, so all right, we'll continue on. Tony,
I have no idea what's going on though. Other than that,
Yes,
All right.
Gary.
Talk to me about Arsenal then. Transfer window. It's been open for a while.
Nuno's gone.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
No divides.
where's Nuno gone?
Lazio?
Yep.
I have no idea.
Oh, where is he gone? I don't even
Alonso
know.
told you he's going to Lazio.
Lazio.
Oh, Lazio. Okay. All right.
And then you have us going in for another left back / left center back, which I don't understand when you got other needs and you got somebody you just bought 18
Public
months ago
cover.
that does.
Did we not see the
You got
revolving door?
you got Timber, you got
It's probably cover for Magalesh.
Who's cover for Regalish?
Kalafari.
Oh.
I mean, that would be my best guess because you have Timber and you have Tomiyasu. You could both play right back as well. My only guess is that Kalafari will probably deputize Magalesh because we haven't had depth there in a while. And also, rumors are is that Kvyat may be out and Zinchenko. So, sorry,
I don't know what he means. Who's this guy? Anybody? Mr. Tom, translate.
Gary will be promoting Eni Aluko for next England manager. For next England manager. You know what, Brownie? I'd actually be really happy if that happened because then at least she wouldn't be in the analysis booth.
And no one would blame her for the failures either because they wouldn't want to look bad blaming her for failing.
Yeah. It's actually a really
Win-win.
clever.
As Michael Scott would say, this is a win-win-win.
Win-win-win. 3 wins.
Guys, okay, sorry I even went there. All right, let's continue on. Spencer.
No, she's not bad because she's a woman. She's bad because she says things that are shit and stupid.
Well, Brownie didn't bring her up because of her coaching management talents. All right, he's already shown us where he stands on women's sports. I was just about to ask Spencer. Every time I'm about to ask Spencer something, he goes, "What's going on? Where are you going?"
I got a mouse in my ear. Sorry.
You have a mouse in your ear? I don't know what that is.
He's got a mouse in his ass.
I'll just say, like, if you're going to pay $50 million for a player, and that's the rumored amount, he's probably coming in to be a starter somewhere. We had a revolving door at left back last year. I mean, for me, Timber would probably be the starting left back, but Timber can also play center back. I mean, it depends on what you're going to do with Zinchenko coming up next. I mean, we'll see what happens. But if we get this kid from Italy, I think that's where he's at, right? It's just rumor mill at this point, right? So we don't know what's really true or what's not. I know Brownie is convinced it's going to be a dead window. I think he's partially right, but I still think people are going to do business. I just don't think it's going to be as busy as it normally is. There'll probably be a lot of loan moves and stuff like that, but I still think we're going to sign 3 players. Still convinced of that. The Euros just ended, so I think business is about to start to pick up here shortly. I really do.
Yeah. Hopefully it's more than that. But Alonso, your initial, I guess, transfer thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I could tell you I want gone. But I heard today that somebody at Congo is also leaving on loan, I believe, to I don't know where. I think it's somebody in I think
Who did you say? Lukonga?
Sevilla. Yeah,
Yes,
I think Sevilla are in for him as well.
It's Sevilla. It's Sevilla. Yeah.
Okay, and then I also heard that Marseille are also in for Eddie and Kedia, which to me makes sense, kind of. But yeah, I mean, I also heard that Emile Sofo, I guess Arsenal turned down both bids from Fulham and Crystal Palace, and he said that he wants to weigh his options to see if he get first time football. Like I said, I always wanted Emile Sofo to stay at Arsenal. But hopefully, I just want the best for him at this point. My hope is that he stays 1 more year just to figure it out and stay injury free, but you can't always count on that. So I think it's good for somebody like Kanga and Tavares to get playing time, and hopefully they could get more first team football out of those teams. Though I'm hoping that Arsenal can just get rid of Zinchenko once and for all, because we had depth now at the left back position. Also, hopefully, getting something out of Gabriel Jesus. But that said, I hope that we also get good money for QBR as well. The rumors that he might go to AC Milan. So yeah, I hope whatever happens, I hope we get some kind of profit out of those guys, and like Steven said, we got David Raya coming back. So
I heard that. Yep. Something you said. I always want to go against you, but I can't remember what it is now. But yeah, no. Oh, that's what it was. Emile Sofo, the best thing for him is football. He's not going to get it with Arsenal. He's not going to get time with Arsenal. If he really wants to, I think, progress in his career, he should go somewhere else, somewhere new, somewhere where he will have a much better chance of playing football. He's not going to get that at Arsenal, I don't believe. We need to have answers and not questions as to, oh wait, where is Emile Sofo now? He's on the bench, he's not playing, or he's not on the bench, he's in the physio. Same thing for Nketiah and Nelson. They need to go play somewhere else. I think they need more minutes elsewhere. Also, once again, Arsenal is going to do it to themselves if they don't sell these players because of a particular number in mind. You're going to hold on to these players and they're going to walk for free. Once again, it's not like
Gary,
saying that.
I'll ask you a question. So do you think that Emile Sofo being always injured, it seems like, do you think also, is that how you feel about Gabriel Jesus not being able to be he's always on the physio room trying to get healthy, and do you feel that he should probably move on as well?
Yeah, I think the difference is a little bit more challenging to sell Jesus and Zinchenko. That's why Coyg is a lot on the table as an option to sell. They need to bring in new players. I don't know if they're going to be able to sell these players, especially at their salaries. So that's why I think those players are, some of the younger players are the ones going out. So that's my thought there. Coyg they can make some money off of. I think they can even make a profit off of him. Right? They're going to make any profit they can off of the academy players. Right? And if they bring in Nweri, then that's one player. I don't know if there's any other academy players they can bring in, but that's at least one maybe they might bring in. So, yeah.
I heard also Patino may get a look as well. He's been training with the team, so we'll see what happens with Patino.
Yeah, so as I've said before, the best loans are the ones that look like Saliba.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't had anything close to that. A player who consistently plays. All right. So he's the last one to do it, and we've seen what happens there. So you got to be good enough that the coach doesn't want to sit you, even if you're a loanee, right? So you might as well play your best players, even sometimes if it's not your own. But that's what Saliba did, and there was a slight chance he might not want to stay. All right, so that's the little thing as well. Mr. Tom, I know you talked about all of your leads transfer.
I didn't talk about all of it. I didn't talk about all of it at all. I just saw you all fall asleep, so I had to stop.
Well, you were falling asleep, so then I thought maybe you know.
Well, I was, yeah, I was.
Talk to me about the other transfer.
You just don't care. It's fine.
I just asked you to tell me.
Nah, it's fine. But I don't know what to say. You all right, Alonso? All right, just making sure. But no, whenever I start talking, he starts looking down like I'm about to kill him, about to put him to sleep or something.
Well, to be fair to him, I have fallen asleep on the Saturday trip, so that's because I was really tired that day. So I get it.
Tom, you were being voice.
Fell asleep on the full Nelson too.
Yeah.
The man's working hard, man. Let the man's got to rest sometimes.
Oh, I wasn't hating. I just pointed out.
Yeah.
But talk about Smith Rowe. Even when he was healthy, Arteta wasn't picking him. It wasn't until Aubameyang got in a fight with the coaching staff.
God, here we go.
But he was healthy. He wasn't used. If you don't use him, sell him. Move on.
I you know what? It's crazy, but I backed Tony on this one because I looked it up. There's at least 8 games in a row he did not play.
That year, right?
This is last season. This past season. Towards the end of the season, he was on the bench and did not come off. He was healthy enough to play. He's not injured, according to at least transfer mark, but he did not play. There are many times you saw who we brought on late in games. He wasn't trusted by Arteta.
Well, to be fair, he did get man of match in the game that he did start. So there's potential there, obviously. But I don't want Gary is just the guy for Messi to succeed, really, because there's talent there. And you have said, I want him to get first team football. And unfortunately, we won't see that at Arsenal. And I had to kind of get my grip on that because, he's a good talent and healthy. And it's a shame that it didn't work out for him, but I just hope that he does succeed.
I hear that. I mean, just saw something on the Twitter. Arsenal rejected 30 mil plus bonuses from Fulham for Emile Rowe.
I take it.
That is a lot of money for an Arsenal player in this day and age. Anything over 20 is amazing because Ramsdale is a starting goalkeeper in the Premier League, and it doesn't even sound like we get anywhere close to 25 for him. At least that's what it seems like. So, yeah.
Sounds like one of those Iwobi deals. Yeah.
Yeah, that 30 mil for Emile Rowe, who hasn't played much because he's been injured for you. I don't know what more do you want out of a player?
How much more do you want out of him, Gary? I mean,
yeah, I think that's a good deal.
30 million and a pound, is that what we're asking?
I don't know what the bonuses are.
So I do have to point out, Alonso really upset me when you brought up Marseille and Eddie Nketiah, because there's only one place Eddie Nketiah should be going.
Leeds.
And it ain't fucking Marseille, pardon my language.
Hey, Marseille just sold Aubameyang, so they're going to get a little bit of money for him. So they're going to have a little bit of money maybe for an Eddie Nketiah. Yeah.
This ain't fair. I should get the players that I want for my club. I don't care about
Eddie.
football economics.
Put your money on the table. He's yours. If you want the man, put your money on the table. We'll sell you Nketiah.
50 million.
Right. Okay, no. I'll tell you how this is going to play out in my mind. It's going to play out like the time Homer Simpson negotiated, and you're going to give the offer. You want 50 million, right? You never play the guy, and you'll slag him off, but you want 50 million.
Premier League goal scorer. You want to get back in the Premier League?
Arguably, he's not, because I think he's scored.
How many of your players got hat tricks in the Premier League?
Yeah, how many?
Sorry?
How many of your players have gotten a hat trick in the Premier League in the last couple of years?
How bad do you want to get back in the league?
Patrick Bamford. Patrick Bamford got a Premier League hat
So he's at the same level. So then you got
Yep.
two
of them. Yep.
two of them now.
You get your
That's
promotion. You
talk
get back
about
in the
like
league.
doubling up on a
Hey.
strength.
Hey, that'd be great. But all I'm saying is my offer is simply I'd write on a bit of paper, I'd slide it across the table to you all. I'll slide it to Alonso, and I want Alonso to open it up and read the letters. Give him to us for free.
Oh, come on.
And then he can fold it up.
The man's
and then
got like
slide
how
it
many?
back over.
The man's got like 8-9 goals in whatever 50 games. Come on.
$25 million for Joe Willock.
Yeah.
How much did we get for Iwobi? It was $40 million.
Yeah. 30 for Milsworth Row is good money. I don't know what Arsenal. I understand the
Premier League
premise
goal
of
scorer.
potential, but there is none. No, you're rolling the dice to say he might be healthy this time, but for the last 3 years, nah. You know what I mean? Last 2 or 3 years hasn't worked out. So, yeah.
That's why you can work in bonuses and other stuff besides just the salary. Transfer fee.
I remember when you sold John Hartson in 1997, I think it was, to West Ham. You got good money for him at the time, but then when West Ham then sold him to Wimbledon, they gave him it was quite a unique contract because basically it was, we don't think you're going to play a lot because of your fitness, but so we're going to pay you based on how many goals you score. Basically, like for every goal we scored, he'd get like 20 grand or whatever it was. But in 1998 or whatever year it would have been, that would have been an obscene. It'd be like giving Haaland £1 million per goal. I mean, admittedly, you'd be then handing out a lot of millions, and John Hartson was by no means Erling Haaland, so it's probably a poor comparison. But I'm pretty sure he might have regretted that contract because I can't imagine he got many goals for Wimbledon. They're not even a team anymore, are they? Wimbledon. So anyway, just saying, play like we should give Eddie and Nketiah £6 million per goal. Something like that.
If you can get him to run, that with incentives, you'll probably get a good amount out of him.
Gary, he runs fine. We're trying to sell him.
I still make a bomber. I thought a Boomerang's gold thing was crazy. Here you are making $350,000. Then you're getting
Did you see the pictures of him on Twitter? All buffed out, ready to go, sweat dripping off the man.
See,
that's what you want.
Presentation is everything, they say.
I don't follow
Adonis.
one footballer.
I think it said Adonis. I think it's what they said. Adonis. I think that's what they said. He-Man.
Bro, they didn't buy him in January. They bought him in the March transfer window, like the deadline day in March.
I'm just gonna say, I just got to convince one club to buy him. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all we got to do.
True. If Leeds want him, you got him. If they can they got those 3 players, Nelson, Nketiah, and Milsworth Row. If they could make 70 between the 3 of them,
I
think
regret
that's
bringing
good
up
business.
Hartson.
That'd be good business based on what you've gotten out of them and what they've given you.
This is easy. Leeds buying for $25 million right now. They get promoted. We get an extra $25 million.
There you go.
Incentive laden.
It's a great idea, actually.
It really is.
I might even tweet everyone involved at the club to actually go along with that. But more than that, I'd have to follow them all first. But still, I ain't following anyone involved in football on Twitter. It's weird.
It is weird, but we do it.
Oh man, I'm not putting that up there, Brownie.
I'm following the football club, and that's it. Mason Green. Oh no, I'm not reading that out loud, of course.
No.
Yeah, almost did a Gary then.
Yeah, I did actually read it first.
Laughed at that.
They're laughing at that. That's not funny.
I
I said I
think
shouldn't have laughed at that.
Oh, okay.
I think Brownie.
It is funny.
Brownie has his 3 strikes already.
Well, no. This is the contention I have with things like this, right? Gary is technically right. I'm not digging out Gary, but when people go, "You can't laugh at that," I'm like, "No, you literally can laugh at that. You're wrong to, but you can. You objectively you can. Like when people go, there are certain things you can't laugh at." I'm like, "No, that's wrong. You can literally laugh at anything. There's literally no rule to say you can't." Apart from social conventions.
Yeah. You lose. You get canceled, right? So, but we move on.
Oh no, my 70 followers on the phone, Nelson, not gonna watch me anymore.
We've said worse things than that, probably.
I have said worse things.
There you go. So, yeah, you said worse for sure.
I mean, most of my followers on the Full Nelson actually end up on the show. So
there you go. Yeah. So I think Arsenal, they need to sell whoever they can, take the money. I saw is it Steven was talking about Rhea, probably the worst signing. I guess that is the business that Arsenal's done first. They did sign Rhea. I still don't get the lateral move from Ramsdale to Rhea. You get some good stuff with him, and you get some bad stuff with him. So you need to get better in both areas of goalkeeping that you want.
Is that true, Tony?
That what?
That he's made 11 errors. Big errors, sorry. I was minorly testing if Tony.
He might. A lot of times, I don't know. I guess Steven could tell us, but I think I'm going to say some of those errors are him just booting the ball straight out.
I'm not saying that the Arsenal misfit is lying. I just think it was very specific.
Yeah. Sometimes you see he makes an error, but the other team is not clinical, so so he doesn't get punished for it. Right? Saw that late in the season. He made a poor play in a ball, and luckily, he wasn't going to get to it anyways, and then it was an open ball anyway off of Rice. So
I don't know. I'll deal with a few bad kicks to get the penalty saves you got with him.
You do what?
I said I'll do with a couple of bad kicks from him from the back if you're going out there and you're stopping penalties or spot kicks.
Basically, what he's saying is it's the cost of doing business to make saves on penalties and spot kicks.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a positive and negatives to both to his game. So you didn't gain anything.
God.
Right?
He's better than Ramsdale, Gary. Better than Ramsdale.
Yeah.
Oh.
I do like how the Ramsdale ride debate does trigger people, though. That is kind of fun at times.
Yeah. No, I think you didn't get better. Not significantly better. Yeah, by making that move. So you're gonna have to make it again at some point.
I was mimicking the angle.
I mean, we just went from England's number 2 to Spain's number 2. That's all we did.
True. So that's not good.
Technically, Spain won the Euros, so wouldn't that mean they're better? I'm sorry, I'm just joking at this point. Sorry, guys.
Look how many goals we gave up. Gave up less goals.
Got to work a lot harder than that to catch a bite from me on that one, Mr. Spencer.
I'm gonna keep digging though.
Yeah. Well, if our defense gets better, then our goalkeeper doesn't have to be that good at shot stopping, right? So, I mean, we've got at least 3 or 4 players defensively that we're looking at right now. So, if we get 2 of them in, and there's still that German player that was supposed to bring in. Anybody know who that is? Yeah,
probably Sané.
That's an attacker maybe coming off the bench for us.
I would take him.
He's I think he offers something different than what we have from our attackers now. So or he adds to. Yeah, he
He
got.
would
He
offer
offers
you
something
winger
different.
coverage. That's what he would offer you. And that's really what we need more than anything, in my opinion.
Yeah. If you can take what he showed us when we played Bayern Munich, if he can show us those same kind of attack, those threats, that'd be something totally different to what we have right now. So Sackert still hasn't figured out he can do that. In my eyes, he still wants to make
Why wouldn't you just take Gnabry back?
because he costs probably he's probably not available.
He's too old too at this point.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think he's close to 31.
I liked what Sane did. I don't remember that Gnabry didn't he get injured?
He got injured a lot, and when he was at Arsenal, that was a big fear because he was always playing cup games whenever he was at Arsenal, and then he went to West Brom. I think he went somewhere else in Holland, and then he finally settled in Bayern Munich. So I think if he came back to Arsenal, it would be a tough task to kind of replicate what he did at Bayern Munich, simply because it's a different style of football. So I don't know if it would work. I think he's already older now. I think Serge Gnabry is a bit younger. And I think he has experience with Arteta. So who knows what happened there? I still don't. I know we have Leandro Trossard still. Also, so with these movements, you'll know what to expect. Leandro Trossard still has talent to play all positions as well. So it's just a tough move to, I guess. He could start or substitute, and that's the good thing about Leandro Trossard. So will Sane be able to do the same thing?
True. Well, we want to have players that can start for us, so that's the one thing, the key thing. And right now, some of the players we're trying to sell, they're not guaranteed starters for us, so we want to change
This is
that.
a great question. I know the answer
So
to this.
Brownie here. So here we go. Mr. Tom says he knows the answer, even though he can't because he's not from outside of
I
the
know
UK.
I said I want to hear the answer.
Yeah. Here's a question for you guys. I'm not sure this next statement, but anyways, in the world of social media and Nigerian football experts, I don't know what that means because I don't know anything about Nigerian football. I don't know if anybody else here does.
No, I can tell you what he means.
But as supporters who reside outside of the UK, do you guys take friendly results seriously? And before we answer, Mr. Tom, can you translate?
Basically, in the world of social media and football experts that happen to be Nigerian on social media, as supporters that reside outside of the UK, do you take friendly results seriously?
Yeah. I'll start it off. No, but I do want to see certain things from the players that I haven't seen before, or certain styles of play from the players that need to improve. But I don't really care about the result, like because it doesn't actually matter. Like we lost. I went and watched us play against Manchester United. We lost, but in reality, I was kind of trying to look at the players. They didn't really play that well, so I didn't really get much out of that. So that's where I was disappointed. The result, I didn't really care too much about it, and we saw how the season went. So I think it should be a matter of those new players coming in actually trying to show what they got. Tony, what you got?
To me, friendlies don't matter. I would say a lot of Arsenal fans disagree because they always want to count.
Okay, here's a question. You are not the Arsenal fans. You are Tony, an Arsenal fan. So Tony, talk to me about what Tony feels when he sees Arsenal's lost 2-1 or 2-0 to United.
Who? Sorry?
What?
Manchester. Oh, sorry. But anyways, answer the question.
It doesn't matter, Gary.
Cool.
Because you're not to have your starters in. Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
What does this little thing say now? This is how many how long before we play. So we're not gonna have any business concluded at that point. Really.
All right, Spencer. Friendlies.
Don't care. I don't take them seriously. I literally, when we get like an international break, and I've said this before, I just walk away from football for a couple of weeks and I'll go do something else. I like to get the refreshing break from it. Like, I'm not that obsessed with football that I have to go watch the U.S. Like, I'm not against it. I'll watch them if it's on and I have the time, but I'm more likely going to go do something with the family than sit down and watch the United States play Panama. I might even watch golf before I watch that.
I watch any sport, so sometimes I have to be away from it. Lonzo, friendlies.
I mean, it don't matter to me only because it don't matter. There's no scoring record for those. Though I do like to see how Arsenal incorporate the newer players, maybe. Though I think the Community Shields matters. I think a little bit because it is a trophy that doesn't really matter. But I watch. But do I really care about who wins or loses? Not really. I watch only because it is preseason, and look forward to watching the newer players on the team play. But besides that, I don't really care about the result. I think the games in the U.S. they start later on in the evening, so it's like prime time. So I look forward to watching it, but I don't care about the result. No.
Yeah. Yep. And personally, we want to see all the players to see what they're a little bit all about, anyways. So.
Gnabry had his 29th birthday yesterday, Gary.
Okay. So that's why he's not on the list. Maybe if Sane's Sane's I think a little bit younger, right? He's like 25, 26 or something like that.
I think I mentioned that he was a bit older. Where Sane is a bit younger than Gnabry.
Well, you didn't say 29, Alonso. So
I did not. So
yeah. I don't know. I assume Lucky Dom is that because is that what's her name is back?
Yeah.
It's something on here about Liv Morgan talking about I've always been known to be quite the screamer. That's the quote.
That's not something that I ever imagined hearing coming out of Gary's mouth as a sentence. I must admit.
Yeah. Well, it's you guys like to go cross over to the wrestling world, so I just did.
Well, thank you for that, Gary. Can I answer the question?
You are not outside the UK.
Why do you have to be out?
Because that's the question says.
The UK
it's
to take friendly results seriously?
That's what the question says. As supporters who reside outside of the UK, and I know you don't reside outside of the UK. So how in the world would you have any clue as to how to answer this?
Well, I can answer this. Plus, because you all interpreted it differently, which is what I found fascinating. Like, for example, Tony and Alonso both took it as Arsenal. Spencer took it as all football, including the United States men's national team, which I found quite fascinating.
Yeah. True.
But personally, it'd be basically when Leeds rock up in a friendly, I will look out for the score. I will look out for the highlights on YouTube. I will not pay LUTV £5 or whatever it be to watch the match. Yeah. I'm not paying to watch friendly. Personally, I know that's not specifically what was being asked.
Yep.
But that's my interpretation on it. Yeah, it is interesting. Like if you win friendly. So basically, when Leeds lost 2-0 to Monaco, I was in no rush to watch Brill Embolo bang one past Leeds United. No interest. I was like, all right, we lost. All right, when's the next game? Sort of thing. But when we beat, I think it was Cagliari in Italy, we won like 5-2 or so. It was like, oh yeah, I want to see the highlights of that. We scored 5 goals, which is obviously a rare occurrence for Leeds United.
Yeah, and as
By all
Brownie
means,
says,
Mr. Spencer.
this is why he cares about friendlies. And Spencer has something to say before that.
So I misread Brownie's question. I figured we were still talking about international football friendlies. That's what I figured the whole comment was. But if Arsenal's playing in a friendly, I'll check to see how it went. I'll watch it, but I don't take too much out of it. Like last year, I didn't take much out of what I saw from those friendlies. I wasn't really too worried about it. So, I mean, look, and it was proven kind of right. United beat Arsenal 2-0 on that crappy field in New York. And what happened? We still had a better season than them. So,
very true. Very true. Yeah. Well, Brownie says friendlies are for getting drunk, essentially. There you go.
Why does all the time every football game that's played in the U.S. they wait 3 to 4 days before? Oh, let's throw down a new pitch. They did that even with the Super Bowl, not including regular football. They did that, and everybody kept falling down because it was a greasy thing.
You should have seen
the pitch.
If I'm an international team coming over, the first thing I'm saying is don't get my players injured, because you can't put the ground down before I get there. You know,
it's just crazy. You'll see the ball going.
Think about how many injuries it seemed came out of that game. Lots of players were having leg issues playing on that. You know what? If you want to bring players over, cool. But the whole point of it is not so that they get put in situations where they get injured.
I can tell you from Friday night when Scotland played the U.S. that was the same pitch that the DC United had been playing on. And in fact, they tore that field up. Like the first scrum just tore the field up. But DC United played the next night on it, so they didn't replace the field or do anything like that. So I don't know what was going on with the quality of that field. And it's the heat at this point too, right? If you're going to do these games, do them in a dome or something. I mean, the summer months are just so miserable to go watch a game when it's like 100 degrees outside.
Like Indianapolis, you got Dallas, you got LA.
Aren't the dome games worse though, like for the fan experience, like in terms of like how hot it gets?
Yeah, what do you mean? What do you mean by why would it be worse?
Because don't it get hotter under the dome?
No, they pump air in there, dude. It's not hot.
Yeah.
Like Arizona, in Arizona, I don't know if you've seen how they set that up, but the Arizona field, they can roll it out to water it. They can roll out, and then they roll out the other end and water it there, so it gets some sun and all of that. So, you're playing on grass. So I kind of feel like, you know what, we're talking about players worth millions of dollars, and I don't know what Spencer. I don't know what video Spencer gave Brownie.
It's Grand Theft Auto. It was really good.
Yeah, I sent it to you. It was someone did a mod, and it was England rioting after a loss, and it was someone playing as the cop just beating up the England fans. It's literally like I sent it to a group chat. I'm still in the group chat, so they didn't kick me out, but I thought it would get me kicked out.
I saw the video. I didn't get a chance to click it, so.
I mean, I don't expect you to watch 30 minutes of it. Watch like 4 or 5 to get a good laugh. It's just it's a typical Grand Theft Auto mod. It's just funny.
I was like pressing random parts along the tie line, watching for about 30 seconds, getting a feel for what was going on, then going forward about 5 minutes or so. It was not bad.
It's the way to enjoy that. It's just the funniest thing. The people are bored with a lot of time out there, and they do it for our amusement and humor.
Yeah. I think if I were, just in terms of friendlies, I think I remember. I think Arsenal played. Was it against MK Dons, and some of the youngsters got to play in that, but they're not going to get to play in these ones when they travel as far as they do. So you don't even get to see some of the academy players that might have a chance. Like, we saw them play earlier, right? But then as it got to the different games, you never saw them play again, right? I think they played in DC, right? I think you got to see them. But when we watched, me and Ray watched it against Manchester United, I don't think any of them got a chance to play.
We saw the first 11 in the first part of the game. Then Declan came on about, I'll say 60th minute. We saw the full team in theory, but yeah. I mean, I'll go ahead.
Sorry, it's rude, mate. Go on.
No,
Sorry.
I mean, I'll give you an example. Scotland is drafted better than the U.S. in rugby. This is like a no crap comment, but they definitely played their heavy hitters because the last time Scotland played the U.S., U.S. beat them. So they played their heavy hitters pretty much the majority of the game, which you normally don't get to see in a lot of these test matches, you know. So, I mean, think about the game that's closest to us, Gary, like Philadelphia, 6 hours. I guess you could take the train, whatever you want to do as far as that goes. But the tickets alone, I mean, who are we even guaranteed to see? They're going to charge us full amount of price for us if we went to a regular game over there, $200+ for nosebleed seats. I'm just not going to do it, man. I did it last year. I did it in 2019. Next game I go is going to be over there. And if I have to pay an arm and a leg, I'll pay an arm and a leg over there. I'm not going to.
But I don't think it's going to cost a lot to see a friendly in England. You know what I mean?
Right. It just they take. I mean, you could take the argument like, hey, if you're American, like think about your cost of travel, hotel. But it's just, I'm just not going to the Philly game. I don't. No, I can't
if I could put it on a Wednesday
I don't have a spare leg for you, Spencer. Do not have a spare leg.
You don't have a leg to spare. Got it.
You're fine, man. You're fine.
But I think a game to watch on a Wednesday is tough as well because
I don't think I want to give up an arm either. But
I mean, the cost is not the issue for me. It's just going to be what they're going to charge me for what I'm going to get to see.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
for me also, it's on a Wednesday and it's not easy to get to. Like, I can't just drive there and drive back because
it's 3 days to leave.
The game's late, right? So I'm, like, when do I leave? And then when I leave, when the match is over, do I get a place to stay just to drive back the next day? You know, it's like, that's just a lot.
I just miss when like Arsenal was going to Australia. You would have the Emirates Cup that would last 4 or 5 days, but now it's just like, let's just focus on the Americans fans. It's like, aren't you to pay attention to like Asian fans or other areas that?
Well, people said that's, you got these American owners with their clubs. I mean, right? Manchester United, Arsenal seem to not want to travel unless it's going west from the UK. So, a little disappointing for all their fans. Once in a while, they should go elsewhere.
They could do like Newcastle did and do that Australian game. Which one was that one, Tom? They told it was Newcastle was going to play Everton, I think it was. And none of the Newcastle players showed up, and Newcastle got pumped 5 or 6, 7-0 or something.
Oh, no, Newcastle, about 3 days after the season ended, they took the youth team to Australia to play the A-League All-Stars, if I remember rightly. So it was the equivalent of the MLS All-Star team, but Australian, obviously, so infinitely worse. And they won 8-0 against Nuke. Sorry, what's that, Tony?
Carry on.
Crikey.
Yeah, carry on.
Just like
it was worth batting in again. So go on, Tony. What do you have to say?
I just said crikey.
Oh, no, anyway, they won 8-0 against Newcastle's youth team. Well worth the trip to Australia, I imagine.
Let me just think about the Australian Newcastle fans, all 7 of them. Sorry, too soon. That spent. I mean, think they probably charged them a couple $100 for that game, probably.
Yep.
So I don't know, man. I did it last year. It was fun. I didn't get a chance to go to New York. That would have been kind of cool because we could have kept going. I had to work that weekend, but.
Did you go to DC United, the MLS soccer game the day after?
No, we came straight home. Actually, I didn't even know DC United was in home playing, to be honest. But the hotel would have been even more crazy because the Savannah Bananas were in town. They're basically the version of the Harlem Globetrotters. So, but
Yeah,
for baseball,
I know of them only because in wrestling, the New Day were wearing their T-shirt. That's the only reason I know the Savannah Bananas are.
yeah. So I mean,
they're a basketball team, or
they're baseball. They're basically the Harlem Globetrotters. Yeah,
they do like the little things in between pitches, stuff like that.
I'm not really like I've seen the Harlem Globetrotters, so I think it's a good event. If anybody gets a chance, go see it. The Savannah Banana things, like I just want my baseball to be normal. Just pitch the ball, hit the ball, catch the ball. It's a simple game.
Yeah, I think I was watching Euros or something like that, and in between Euros and Copa America, it switched over to that. They must have had something on ESPN or
they sold out Nats Park for that.
So, yeah, it was like I was like, oh, okay, cool. Next, it's cool for like the 15, 30-second reel or video that you get short, but I can't imagine seeing that for 2 hours or something.
No, I couldn't do it. But people were there for it. We were leaving on Saturday. There were people that they had, their shirt. They had shirts. They had jerseys. So I mean,
I'm the sort of person that cheers against the Harlem Globetrotters.
I want the Generals to win just once. Just once.
It would just be nice. At least give me the pretense that it's not fixed.
That's it. Yeah.
Make me believe it's an actual sporting contest. Make the kids believe it's a sporting contest.
Very true.
I don't know.
You guys, any of you guys know?
1,000.
Any of you guys know if the Ipswich owners are American?
Who?
Ipswich.
Yeah.
Never heard of them. I'm just kidding. Sorry, Stefan.
Don't apologise to Stefan. He gets insufferable with his.
It's a yo-yo club. They're going to be up and right back.
So,
I'm just kidding. Sorry, I'm
still waiting for. I'm still waiting for the fights in this GTA thing. I'm like a minute and a half in, and all.
Dude, you got to go like 10 minutes into it.
They're just like driving.
There's one where a guy puts his hand behind his back, and the other guy just comes and starts wailing on the guy. The guy takes his nightstick and just start whacking at each other. It's the stupidest thing, but it'll make you giggle a little bit. That somebody was like, you know what? That there's a reputation of the England football fans are going to go riot, and it's Wembley Stadium too, which will make you laugh even more.
I'm gonna hit you, okay? Oh, that's some bad language.
Is that a mod then based on the European final 3 years ago for it to be Wembley Stadium?
I don't know. I don't know if someone was smart enough to know that was connected to that.
Oh, this guy with the stick is taking people out.
It's Grand Theft Auto, Gary. Like, you should go see what they normally do in that game.
Well, it's blood splatter.
Yeah, it's the internet and Grand Theft Auto. I mean,
Undefeated.
And look, 10 years ago, they used to have these Call of Duty chat rooms. Don't go Google those YouTube videos, Gary. Just don't. For your sanity.
This is a good one from Brownie because I did see a lot of memes and stuff about this one. But Brownie's got some good questions there. Guys, what do you think of the madness that's gone on in the Copa America over time? I've had many Americans surprised that home and away fans are segregated in Europe. Now they know why. Yeah, that is crazy, right? I saw someone say that the reason why all those, the reason why the situation is as we've seen it is that MLS or U.S. football is not in charge of it or whatever. But it's a bad look no matter who's in charge. You don't want it on your turf. You don't want it on in your country, regardless. So, especially with the World Cup coming in a couple of years, that's just not a good look. I saw a couple of things where kids they were picking kids up and taking them over the railings, I guess, so that they didn't get crushed. And then eventually the railings came down, and then you just see police just basically taking people out who were running around knowing that they shouldn't be in there.
I think it just exposes the scummery of human beings.
Yeah.
If you ain't got a ticket, why are you there?
Yeah.
Just as simple as that. Why have you brought your kid? Why have you brought a kid, like a toddler or something, to a match where you haven't got a ticket?
Yeah.
Why are you doing that?
You know what? You didn't. And somebody brought their dog, and the dog got separated from the owner.
Why are you bringing your dog to the Copa America? That shouldn't
So,
be a
so at
seventh.
some point, they're like the ladies. I didn't hear the audio, but the ladies complaining, whatever, and one of the ushers has the dog or whatever, a little dog, but it's like you can't bring a dog to a football match. Like
This
like
is upsetting.
what kind of fandom is that? Like better than to bring a dog to a football match, right?
Have you ever watched these South America videos? It's different level, Gary. Different level.
Yeah, but you know what?
Do you remember that the teams got in a fight and they OC
First
sprayed
time-
them?
This is not the first time America has had football fans come over and play from outside the country. It's not, right? They've had the World Cup there before. They've had the Euros, Copa. What is it? Copa, the Gold Cup, whatever it was. They've had.
Yeah, but you had Italy there though. Like I mean, in that
No,
final.
you're
Like,
talking about one team. I'm talking about nations that are crazed football fans. So they've
well,
had.
that's one. Like other than Italy's, like they're what they call them, the smoke bombs and stuff. Yeah. They're generally quite, like you get a few nods, but generally speaking, you could have had worse teams in that World Cup final 30, 40 years ago, or whenever it was. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't know what they expected by having Colombia versus Argentina. You got what was bound to happen.
Yeah.
People could say I'm racially profiling or that, but as Gary said, you see it out there, like you're gonna get this. Oh, sorry, not Gary. It was Spencer who said it. To be fair to him, this is what happens in that football culture. It's crazy.
I think if I recall, like
it's religion.
When I went to the North London Derby, you couldn't even walk up the steps if you didn't have a ticket. And that means the way those people who made it to the gate, that's like you can't do that even for a North London Derby, much less the final for a European, for a Copa America, right? So the fact that they let fans get that close to the stadium is partly on them. If you don't have a ticket, it's enough, or you have enough problems just trying to get the people with the tickets in. Now you've got people who don't have tickets and they can be right there on the property and walk into the gates. Like you have to go through the little whatever
turnstile,
cattle, the little cattle thing, right?
Turnstile.
And there's not this big thing to you have to go through the metal detectors and all of that. It's almost like they didn't have that set up either.
But again, this is the thing. And Tom probably is more privy to this than I am, and of course Gary, being English and the English people are in here. But certain sports have different class systems, right? Cricket's very poshy, rugby's very middle class, college age, and then football is more of the ruffian, poor people sport, allegedly, or whatever, air quotes. So but you got to think about in South America, some of these countries, that's the only hope they have is when Argentina steps on the field or when Brazil goes out. They don't live for anything else.
This was Colombia fans, supposedly. They didn't say much about Argentina.
I mean, but look at Uruguay.
But
we got Darwin Nunez up in the stands fighting with fans, and
that's because they're attacking their families.
Yeah, but
has there been video that's proving that?
Did I hear that somebody threw a chair?
Somebody knocked Darwin out, though. I saw him get clopped on the head. But I mean, what are they going to do to punish or sanction these international teams? If they don't do anything, they're just going to do it again in the next World Cup or whenever. I mean, it's just the U.S. Look, the U.S. has the World Cup in 2026. All right. I just know this much. Do you think the Qataris would have tolerated that, or do you think they would have just put all of them in jail? I'm not saying that's the right answer, but the U.S. needs to figure it out because the 2026 World Cup is coming, and if we don't have our security on par, you won't get another World Cup unless you pay for it illegally.
Our culture has been very much, and by our culture, I mean Western culture like America and the UK, is very much seen as a weaker culture. in
Yes.
terms of discipline.
Yeah.
And that's why you get things like Wembley getting invaded during I mean, I know that, like, and people going to say, like, oh, how can you say about American security being shit when you see what happened at Wembley in the Euro 2020 final? Like, well, it is slightly different in that, yeah, people did break in to Wembley, but that was because it was a major final, which we hadn't been in for, like, 60 years. And I'm not justifying it with that. I'm just saying, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's right, sorry. I'm not saying it's right. But also the context that stadium was still 3/4 empty that people were breaking into. Like, again, I'm not justifying it. I'm just pointing out, like, as much as you go, oh, how can you say that was okay? I mean, because people were furious. Like, why can't I have a ticket? Because the stadium's empty. But you're letting some people in, and by some people, basically the rich people and the famous people. So why can't me as Joe Blow, that actually supports the England national team in any match, why can't I have a ticket? Not saying it's right, just saying why.
But it's true, though. It's true. There's no consequences for actions. And, I mean, I saw where people got arrested. And even the Colombian FA president got arrested, allegedly. Like, you're the head of your FA. What are you doing? I mean, okay. But, I mean, it's but no, the U.S. has got to figure this out. And, and Canada, too. And I think Mexico has games, too. They got to figure it out because the world's watching. And we'll see. I mean, Tom's very right about the Western culture being very lack on discipline. We're very lack on it, and
I think it shows up in especially in the football as well.
Yep.
Because like, if America's playing England, it's like a proper game, right? But if America's playing Mexico,
oh yeah,
like they come close to fists, all right?
I'm gonna tell you, dude, go look at some of the videos, and this is where I really, as much as I love this sport, I have a hard time respecting the people that play it at times, because the reactions when they get tackled, you're just soft. Darwin Nunez is up there trying to square up, but I've watched you flop around. So why wouldn't a guy take a swing at you? They've watched you on the football pitch get barely touched, and you act like you've been shot. So a guy took a swing on you and knocked him on the head. I mean,
what I'd like to say. Sorry, Spencer.
No, you're fine. I'm just rambling at this point, but it's
okay. I'll say one more thing, and then we'll pass on to Alonso.
Your boy Jesse Marsh said it perfectly, and I know you're not a big Jesse Marsh fan, but he basically called out the fact that the way that the Canadian team was treated versus the other. And again, like, I didn't watch a lot of these games, but I saw a couple clips rolling around the field. Like, there's one where a Canadian player kicks the ball against the back of an Argentinian player. Shouldn't do that. That should be a card automatically for doing that. But the Argentinian player's flopping around like a fish, and it's like, dude, that didn't hurt you.
Yeah. Well, no,
what are you doing?
The goalkeeper put his hands on the ball on a throw-in. Didn't get a card. Of course, killed any kind of attack that Canada was going to have. All right? Didn't even get a card. How
no one said you don't care, Bargav. Yeah, that's not been said. What we are saying is because, in my opinion, what proves that our culture is very lack on discipline is literally because people in countries like Colombia, with respect, will see our prison system as a daycare centre compared to their prison. So basically, it's not a deterrent.
It's not.
Yeah. No, like I said,
I think America's the greatest place on earth. I'll go and say it. There's not another country I'd rather live on, Bargab. No, not another country.
No, but you can see it in the style of the way that they play football sometimes, right? Right? And you see, and if you don't play the same way, you get run over. Like Mexico used to run over America all the damn time. As soon as America stood up and said, "Nah, we're not taking this anymore," right? Then the games got better, because at least they're like, Mexico, no, you're not gonna put an elbow in my back or whatever it is that is pissing me off. you're going to get some of that as well. I don't think America does it well, which is okay because they shouldn't, but they don't bend over and take it. Did I say that? Sorry.
No, we know what you meant though.
Jesus.
I thought Tom took
That's
over your voice for a second.
Dubai prison. Yeah. Well, you know what, Brownie. Yeah, Brownie. Yeah. No, but you know what? That for me, that's the thing. Like it's you see it in all types of sports anywhere around it. Like even in whatever countries. Like somebody who says you play like in England, you play football in the cages, right? As opposed to out in the fields. I bet you the football's different in the cages than it is out there on the fields. Right?
A lot faster.
Hey, Gary. Tony mentioned the voices, and that's why. So, you know what voice we haven't heard in a while?
No.
Michael Jackson.
No. You're
Sorry,
muted.
guys. You know what? I've got to go.
And you know what? You're not even. No.
Should I go for the?
No.
Just hold it.
No, just hold it. Yes, just hold it. And right now, don't say a damn thing.
We just had a legit, serious conversation.
I know. We're just sitting there, and now you want it. Now you want it. Lonzo. Bad, Lonzo. Bad.
He's on mute. No,
I muted him.
Look, I want to go back to Barbara's conversation. Love this country. I think it's the greatest place on earth. People get mad at me in the comments. I don't care.
Second.
But we definitely do need some accountability if we're going to run this World Cup properly.
Here's the thing. You think this is a one-off?
I don't think so. Because look at I say it's not a one-off because of what happened in the Uruguay match.
No. What I mean is it a one-off in the sense that they've had World Cups here, so they've had, and they've had Gold Cups here. So it's not like they haven't had teams from other countries come in and play.
It depends on where these games take place, and we'd have to go look at the list and before we have that discussion because
maybe
we're an alcohol-free.
You're saying because it's in Miami, that's why?
No, because I think
I'm saying that.
I think you'd have issues in Texas too. I think you'd have issues in Chicago. I think you'd have issues in DC's a little different because that's the nation's capital and there's a.
That's why I'm not saying it's a one-off in a sense that like they've had country players from other countries come in and play football in the States, right? Yeah, Stefan, I'm sorry. Yeah.
I think the issue is that you have two different American countries playing each other.
Join us, Miss Melina. I'm glad you joined us. Maybe we'll clean this show up. These guys on here are just dirty.
What are you talking about? You've said.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Have you been paying attention to what came out of your mouth,
Moss? Gary? Welcome to the show. Home run derby. I don't know what that means.
Sorry. Right, Alonzo, can you please finish the sentence?
Sorry.
Right. So all Tony's mentioned was the voices. Anyway, what happens here is that you have in a Copa America, right? You have different countries that have national rivalries. So you have fans with the alcohol that don't know how to act. So in case of last night, you had a rivalry between Argentina and Colombia, which everyone knows both Messi and Di Maria's last game was last night, right? Potentially Messi's last game as the Argentina national. So people want to rush and get to the door as soon as the game opens. Well, guess what? They had a delay because of the reason only that fans are trying to get in, paid or no paid. So then it adds up to maybe potential violence. And when the game is over, people are drunk. People are want to go home to Miami where they live at. So then, fights happen. It's what happens in national rivalries, and no matter where the game's been played at. So, to me, it's an issue that whoever was in charge of security should have known this and thought about this in the beginning to have prevented this. Now, I don't know how and where, the fans thought it was okay to get in for free, basically. And like Spencer had said, it's an embarrassing spot on the USA because we hosted this tournament knowing this would happen. And so in an extent, I agree with Spencer as Texas being really bad at this because we're so close to the border. And, you have fans of all fans from all kind of countries in Southern America, Panama, Mexico, living here. And, chances are, being drunk and having alcohol in the system can lead to not so good things. So, there's all kind of issues that can happen. And when the team loses and the fans see the other fans with the opposite shirts, then, it could lead to fights and all that. And it's embarrassing. But like I said, hopefully that they learn from their mistakes and be mindful next time.
Yeah.
Football's always have their hooligans.
So I want to kind of piggyback on this one. So the problem with America and all this stuff is really not. Tom said it earlier. Talking about alcohol, you got alcohol. You got some states that allow drugs to be taken legally. You have people that love their football club or country. What do you think is going to happen? And if security's lax, I mean, it's a bad recipe for a bad disaster. So at the end of the day, these stadiums that are cities that are going to host these games need to step their game up.
Mm-hmm.
Period. I mean, see, I used to drink. I don't drink anymore, but I enjoyed football and drinking and sports and drinking. But it's more enjoyable without it. But some people, like Brownie said, friendlies are a reason to go get drunk. Like, what are we doing, man? What do you think is going to happen if people are just pounding liquor, different opinions, different nationalities, different, just whatever? It can be a recipe for disaster if it's not. If things, it doesn't take much for something to go sideways. Something's misinterpreted. Next thing you know, boom. I mean, there was a video on Twitter where someone's still singing that German bomber song. Like, what the fuck are we doing? It's 2024. Move the fuck on. Sorry about my language, Gary, but it's just embarrassing to see grown folks. You got people with kids crawling through the damn air vents at that stadium. It's embarrassing. But excuse my language, Gary.
American sports culture. American sports culture, or North American, to be more specific, is, in my opinion, not prepared for a European sports culture, or definitely not a South American one. And I think that was apparent last night. Otherwise, the game would have started 80 minutes before it did.
Yeah.
When it was supposed to.
Well, you would think that it's a final. Not only that, it's a final with Messi. At some point, guess what? The security is going to have to be really good, especially like they knew what they did, right? Because not only that, but it's in Miami. That's where Messi plays. So any kind of reason why do you want to go and see that? Plus, I guess it's two countries that don't like each other, but I don't know if it was a Colombia Argentina thing. It just sounded like fans who wanted to get in. For me, a lot more than it was any confrontational type thing. I mean, you got, like I said, you got people with their dogs, people with their kids. I don't know if all of them had tickets, but that's, yeah.
My dog did.
The dog had tickets, all right.
I saw his tickets.
Right.
There you go.
We got a few minutes here. I'm going to have to go. You guys can
But-
continue on if you want. Mr. Tom, do you want to hold on, or we should get out of here?
Well, yeah, I think we should get out of here, but just... So I like the comment, as an Englishman, I agree. The German song is embarrassing. People fucking died, for fuck's sake. He's right. But he also made jokes about Jay Slater, who was found dead today. So, at the start of the show, I believe.
See, I don't know anything about that.
Horses for courses.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, he's right. I've always felt the English it's a one-sided rivalry with the Germans. A lot of it, like, I was having this out with people on social media before, where basically I was like, we're not their rivals. They are our rivals. to put it out, and then someone went to me, no, think about 1944. I went, well, yeah, but they invaded Holland, who are actually their rivals.
Mhm.
It's a bit like, I'll put it another way. Sheffield, our rivalry supposedly we're rival with Huddersfield because it's Leeds United Huddersfield like local derby. But I bet Huddersfield hate Leeds more than Leeds hate Huddersfield. We don't even really fucking have to look at them. When we were in the Premier League, we were like looking like the same as like Man United, I suppose. Although we did go to war with Lancashire, so technically. But yeah, exactly. That's more my point. Is that rivalries are relative, but there's a lot of people in England who don't actually realise that the Germans just laugh at us, laughing at doing these songs at them. They're obviously offended by it.
Yeah.
But it's just sad.
Yeah, you know, I'm just gonna say this to Brownie. It is in the professional sports, maybe,
Yeah.
but in the college sports, it's definitely a lot more regional, and there's a bigger rivalry, and you know, you probably see more fights in the college games than you would in the professional games. You know what I mean?
Gary
I
has a
definitely
rival.
hear a lot of words used
Like,
in it here.
yeah, like I went to University of
LSU.
Florida, and University of Georgia, we hate them.
LSU, don't
we
forget
hate them.
them.
We hate Tennessee. We hate Notre Dame. We hate LSU. Like really, really, really don't like them. And you know, you go to those stadiums, you have to watch your back. You know what I mean? So in the sports, like I don't know for you, Spencer, like South Carolina and Clemson, how friendly are they?
I will never go to a University of South Carolina football game with a Clemson jersey on. They are animals. But you can go to Clemson with a game and no one will mess with you. But they just like to drink because their team is so crap that they're drunk by halfway through the game. It's true. You know how crap South Carolina is. I mean, look at LSU. LSU is one of the most hostile places to go. You wouldn't dare take a kid to a game there.
Is that the one with Cocky?
Oh, South Carolina's one with Cocky, but LSU is the one with the Tiger. But I've heard, I'll tell the joke offline, but I know of a young Auburn fan who's now on media that I'll tell later. But
no, but like the regional rivalry thing is in the college because it's more, that's probably closer to the way the football is set up, where you kind of live, eat, and sleep it kind of thing. Whereas the professional one for me isn't as much because it's a totally different feel because you have a lot of transplants and stuff like that. Whereas there's more of a, if you went to that school, you feel it more. All right, just because you live in Miami doesn't mean you have to be you're a Dolphin fan. You know what I mean? But if I went to University of Miami and University of Miami's playing Notre Dame, guess what? That's a big game back in the 90s, right? That's a big game. Like that was on. There's going to be fights. You got your Catholics versus convicts. That's probably closer to what English football and the way the rivalries is set up there.
You just had Catholics versus convicts.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was the thing. That was 100%.
That was the 80s
thing too. Yeah.
In Miami.
That sounds like a plot in the movie.
Isn't that what 30 for 30 is called too?
Yes, it's it's about Miami, but the Catholic image is put in there. Yeah. I mean,
so I'm like the '82 Sugar Bowl when Penn State beat Oklahoma.
I'm just glad everybody had their last words. I do have to go. My manager's supposed to give me a call in a little bit, so I want to say I'll go to an FSU game, but it's not. You can get you have to watch it. You have to watch it for sure. But Spencer, Lonzo.
I can end the show for you if you want to go.
If the phone call comes in, I will just go. But I'm going to say thank you for joining us. If I do have to go, I guess I'll say thanks for joining us. We'll be back next week. We'll be talking probably transfers because there's nothing else going on. No football. So we'll be talking then. Have fun, and I'll let Mr. Tom. You can run let everybody have their outro. Mr. Tom.
Yeah, sure.
You can run the show. Let everybody have their outro.
Yeah. But you're doing. Yeah, I get it.
I'm leaving now. I'm not
fine. All right, fine, Gary. Yeah, thank you, Gary. That's fine. Have a good night. Piss off. That's fine.
Bye, Gary.
See you guys.
Bye, Gary. See you, man. Super.
Have a good night, sir.
Good night.
So, Alonso, do you want to say good night to your what fans, people in the chat? What do we call fans of Alonso? Apart from
Alonsoite.
blind, obviously.
The Michael Jacksons.
The nutters. The nutters.
The nutters.
Right. So thanks for having me, Gary. Good to see you, Spencer, Tom, and Tony. Shout out to the chat room for keeping us busy and laughing and all that. Especially Stefan Slag. Anyways, hopefully you guys had fun tonight. Looking forward to talking to you guys next time. And anyways, take care and have a good week. Bye.
Right, we're gonna roll over to Mr. from Alonso Spencer to Spencer.
Yeah, so thanks to everybody to come by tonight. It was a good discussion at the end there about what's going to happen potentially in 2 years. So anyway, take care, everybody. I mean, we could talk about international football and then the ties into like world events all night if we really wanted to, but who cares? So anyway, take care of yourself, everybody. Be safe and enjoy your summer, man. It's short. Life's short. Don't waste the trip. Don't waste the journey. All the other cool salutations we give, but take it away, Tom or Tony, one of the two.
Well, thank you very much, Tony.
Oh,
What do you call Tony fans? Anyone out there?
The Tonators.
Oh, okay.
The Tigers, I don't know. I was gonna say earlier to combat the drinking, like Oklahoma, Texas, it's playing at 11 o'clock, so nobody can be super hammered.
Okay.
That's actually
Well,
It's true. They've tried to move it to 2:30 or 7, but
Is that game always? Is that game going to be on Thanksgiving Friday, Tony? Now, or is it still the same as it was before?
I'm not sure the way the SEC's set up.
Oh, that was Texas A&M. Okay, sorry.
it's still going to be there. It's going to be at the Cotton Bowl.
It's usually like the early August, mid-August, whenever the Texas Fair is.
what's a lice only fan, sir? Is that where you check people's hair for lice?
That would be riveting, I think.
I always hated that.
The lollies.
I always hated that in school.
Yep.
I never checked for my lice in school.
Yeah, for sure though. It was Pam from the office.
Never mind.
No, we're not getting onto politics because I thought, seeing as the election went a certain way, I thought Stefan would. He got what he wanted. So no politics. It's banned. It's banned within these walls. Gary has gone. It is certainly not, sir. It's certainly not. I've never been on OnlyFans. Yeah, I bet you haven't, you lying fucker. Anyway, sorry, Tony, go
on. Pretty much it. I'm ready for the preseason games, even though we're not gonna probably have the players we'll be playing the season with.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, I'm gonna move it back to this because I don't want to. Anyway, but I did want to answer this question, right, from Bargav. I don't know if he's still here, but I'll answer it anyway. Get your reservations on Moss as an individual. He can't be I'm pretty sure he's a really nice man, and that if he walked out in front of me, I said it on Brownie Show. I went, if I met him in the street, I'd be perfectly polite to him. But I do think he's a charlatan. I think he sold Leeds United a bill of goods and he didn't deliver on it. Quite frankly, because he didn't. You can't turn around and tell me that when you're sat in the relegation zone and he's turning around and going, oh, yeah, but by my metrics, we're doing really well. And I'm like, yeah, but by the Premier League's metrics, we're fucking not. Pardon my language. But yeah, anyway. But yeah, I'm sure he's a nice guy. But if Jesse Marsh did tell me that the sky was black at night, I would go outside and check. Simple as that. Simple as that. You know what? We'll do this. We'll give him this one. Who's better, Jennifer Aniston or Angelina Jolie, and why is it Jennifer Aniston?
Jennifer Aniston has a good heart, and she is still pretty attractive, and she's pretty down to earth.
She has no kids.
Well, she sorry, that went in a direction I wasn't expecting. I thought it was going to get quite judgy, and then Alonso sat there and went, "Well, I think she's a lovely person," and
she is. I mean,
she walks old ladies across the street, and I think she paid someone's grocery bill once or something. I honestly thought it was going to evolve into who had the best hits, but still. So is that too far?
One of the two got rid of their tits. So.
I was just saying she got no kids, so it's a clean slate. Yeah. Don't cancel me.
Yeah. No. I think it's been far worse then. But no, thank you, Alonso. Tony, who is it?
I would go with Joey.
You think Jennifer Aniston's too chubby? Is that what it is, Tony? So.
No, I think everybody's like always wanting her looks, and I just think she's a bang average chick.
Who's
Tony,
that?
Has your local lamppost been cut off with a saw, and then you go around holding next to women, going, "Nope, too chubby, too chubby."
Tony, Jennifer Aniston is America's sweetheart.
Do you make her stand sideways?
Yeah. Right. These plans still imploded. Hey, I'm not saying they didn't, but he talks a lot of shit about what he was going to do. And I personally still think we mainly survived based on individual brilliance more than anything he did. And I know that's not necessarily fair for me to say, but he didn't tell Rafina how to score a penalty on the final day.
What was your favorite celebrity that died this weekend?
Apparently there's 4, weren't there? But I can only think of 3.
Dr.
Shannon Doe was a controversial one, of course. Shelley Duvall, of course. Who are the other 2, Tony?
It was Dr. Ruth, Richard Simmons.
Oh, Richard Simmons. Yeah, sorry. Smithers. Unleash the robotic Richard Simmons. Sorry, Richard Simmons, because he was in Simpsons as a robot. Anyway, Marshall cannot believe his luck. Honorary Canadian. No. There'll come a point, Moss, where you are saying the absolute opposite. Oh, versus Princeton's Jesse Marsh. Sorry, I was supposed to end the show, weren't I? But
supposed to.
I mean, Jesse Marsh is a good guy, you know.
I'm sure he is a good guy. I'm not disputing that he's a good guy, but I do think he's fraud.
I mean, a world full of frauds. I mean, what are you gonna do, Tom? You know.
Talk about on Monday night.
All right, so we came to an agreement. Jennifer Aniston wins, right? That's just the agreement.
Alonso went with Jennifer Aniston, right?
Right. Tony said she was too chubby.
I didn't say she was too chubby.
And Tom's
kind
like,
of what you tend to base it on. Oh no, I would have gone with Aniston personally.
There we go. So the logic wins. All right.
Everybody just loves the fucking Friends.
I've never watched a single episode.
Stupid shit.
Don't get me wrong.
I loved it.
I get why Brownie asked that question because obviously the Brad Pitt connection, but I personally would have gone with Jennifer Aniston or Courtney Cox. Personally, as a more divisive question.
I would have picked also Tom Regina Phalange.
Regina Phalange. Wow. What? Fuck it. Why not just talk about Romy and Michelle's high school reunion? Now we're getting 90s, proper 90s. Anyway.
Yeah, funny Tom.
Thank you, sir. Leeds came to Emirates and took it to us. Some stuff out of his hands. Gee, what? Bargav, how much is Jesse Marsh paying you to defend him? I get why Moss is doing it. But you, sir, I had you down as an intelligent young man.
Maybe he's been hacked.
Been hacked. Hang on, BX Gunner. Nah. I don't believe you. Don't believe you at all. Jolie from the movie Hackers in '95, all day long. Are you sure?
I'm sure. She's got great lips. Her lips does it enough in that movie.
No. It's the way you just went, I'm sure.
Oh God, dude.
Brilliant. It's the best thing ever.
After watching that movie about 77 times, yeah.
Wish they paid me. Fair point.
I mean, I've seen episodes of it, but I didn't make an effort to go watch it. It was like I've maybe seen 2 full episodes, maybe. I know the memes.
No, I have.
I've seen all of them.
Rowdy. Gary would be really upset if I put up. Was this absolutely true? I mean, it's a cornerstone of 90s television, Stefan. Oh, don't get me wrong, very little of it holds up now.
Oh yeah, I've seen all the episodes, and I loved Friends because of the humor. I thought it was very, very well done. I know it gets a lot of slack because of lack of diversity, but it is what it is, and I found it very humorous at that time. I was like 13 years old when it started, so a lot of humor. Right, you said Tom wouldn't last these days. It's like The Office nowadays. It's just the humor was different back then.
The handbag episode. Fascinating.
Yeah.
I remember that when he was all like, I don't want to say it looks like a handbag, but like I said, normal bag now. Like people wouldn't think twice about it, but back then, it's a bit gay, Joey. Is what I think what they were really going for.
Chris, remember the episode whenever Ross and Joey took a nap together?
Yes, I do remember when they were nap partners. They were like, this is a bit weird, isn't it? But then eventually, like,
I want to do it again.
Yeah.
It was like, I want to do it again. That was comedy.
Coaching Canadian ballers, young stars. Hey, I'm not taking it away from you. I think that Copa America was fixed. You cannot say, I'm going on a tangent, but you cannot tell me they didn't fix it for Argentina to not play anyone decent until the final. How can you have Colombia, Uruguay, and Brazil on the opposite end of the tournament or the draw. And basically, you've got Canada, not Panama. Oh, what is it? Venezuela on the other half. It's like, and Canada had to play Argentina twice before the final. That's absurd.
I mean, everybody keeps telling me Messi's better than Ronaldo, but how often has Ronaldo had things fixed for him to win? All right, I'll go ahead and cancel myself.
I think he's right. I think you're right.
And we talked about this last week. I do like Messi and Ronaldo. I like both of them. I don't think they really have to pick, but I mean, the 2022 World Cup was a little sketchy. I'm just saying.
You're right. You're right, Stefan. What a silly thing for me to suggest.
Yeah.
But I suggested it on socials, and someone then replied with, England were on the other side, or England were on the side of the draw, the other thing. I'm like, well, A, we didn't win. So if it was fixed for us, we didn't fucking take advantage of it. B, it's not even remotely the same thing. Because most of those teams did win their groups. Or it wouldn't have mattered whether they won their groups. As in the Copa America and the other. Basically, if you were in Group C or D, you could not play Argentina until the final. Which is ridiculous. Tony, who is that lesbian?
That is not a lesbian.
Shambolic.
Okay, it's Angelina and her giant lips.
I know she's not a lesbian. It doesn't matter if she was and all that. But the point is, I just wanted to say something because I didn't know it was.
She likes adopting kids. Nothing wrong with that, but just saying.
Nothing wrong with that at all. Nothing wrong with that at all. There's too much money in football for it to not be fixed. But I don't even think they're not even trying anymore, Spencer. They're not even trying to hide the fixing. Like, fix it the old-fashioned way through refereeing.
They do it in the NBA.
Yeah.
I'll argue that with anybody. It's not hard to get someone in foul trouble and all of a sudden, nope. The center for the team, the Orlando Magic, is now sitting on the bench. Dwight Howard's in foul trouble every game of the series.
I just want to know how many people besides that one that got dribbled did it.
Easy, we battled through bad calls. You didn't know because every game you were complaining about the calls. So you didn't really battle through them at all, did you?
I just think Copa America was less watchable than the Euros was. And that's saying a lot. And I think it wasn't for the stuff that was on the field. It was more of the banter outside of like, well, the ref did this and that. I mean, we saw the Uruguay and our America ref like pull a card out and play advantage. I think we were on the show, or maybe it was I think it was on the Full Nelson, and he literally got fouled. They pulled out a yellow card, and he played advantage at the same time. I've never seen it. I don't think I'll ever see it again, but it was some Sunday League stuff. So I don't know about a 35-minute halftime.
Was it really a 35-minute halftime, Bargav? I know Moss is prone to exaggeration. So
I don't know.
I know it was longer because I have read that basically Canada were waiting for them to come out. But
I mean, the world loves him some Messi. They really do. And I'm not going to take anything against Messi. Like I said, I think he's probably a great dude. But I can't. My eyes don't deceive me what I saw in that 2022 World Cup, man. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. And I do think, we've talked about. I don't think match fixing happens, but I do think, like you said, oh, this team's going to get an easier draw than this other team is. Like it happens all the time, but I don't know. It's
generally, like someone went to me, oh yeah, but they fixed draw for England. I'm like, but we ain't good enough to even overcome. We ain't good enough to take advantage of that. So it's irrelevant, and we didn't because we didn't win it. Plus, that's not any. What's that got to do with the price of milk? In Miami during the Copa America, because I'm talking about the Copa America, not the Euros, which are two distinctly different competitions.
So do you think a lot of those same claims are to be made in the Champions League since the computer's doing the drawing?
Probably because, well, put it this way. I know Ryan well enough to know that he will sniff out a conspiracy based on, and people go, "Oh, why are you digging that Ryan?" Because I know what Ryan's like, and he'll basically go, what are they called? Aston Villa got an easier draw than us, despite how the seeding works out to actually give you an easier draw than Aston Villa. Because Aston Villa have no European pedigree in recent years. Yeah, I know they won the Champions League, as like Stefan's literally typing out, they've won the European Cup and all that. But my point is that you will have an easier draw than Aston Villa based on how they work out the seedings. And I'm based now on playing it through in Football Manager because it's 4 pots depending on UEFA coefficient. So Villa are going to be in the bottom pot, I imagine, because you've got to be in Europe to have a European coefficient.
So it's
Eventually,
two teams each from 4 pots, right?
Yes, yeah. But they're doing it how the chess tournaments are done, if I remember rightly.
I think what's going to end up happening, Tom, is the next World Cup, they're going to allow you to commit a sub, but that person that you subbed off will come back on later. So when Messi plays in that World Cup, he can play the first 40 minutes, take a break, and come on the last 10 minutes of the game. I'm not completely sold on that mentality, but it could happen. I don't
know. No, you're probably right. They'll change the rules of football to accommodate Lionel.
Yeah.
Basically.
No,
you probably are right there, but again, I imagine some of the qualifiers would have played European football.
Oh, let's mention this. The U.S. gets the Rugby World Cup in 2031, by the way.
Did you say hosting the Rugby World Cup?
Yes, they will be. Hopefully, they'll be a part of it. They weren't the last.
Do you not automatically qualify for hosting in the rugby?
I can't remember what happened in the last one, but they didn't make the 23, and it's not a full big tournament as if in football. It's not the same size. I want to say it's 16 teams, if I'm not mistaken. And then the top from the groups go on. But the beautiful thing about the Rugby World Cup is, there's no such thing as, we're done in the game. They'll beat a team 150-0 if they can. So you'll see some lopsided scores. But anyway, I thought I'd bring that up. Maybe I should start a rugby corner. But I don't know. I really don't know enough to bore you guys with that. Sorry. So just kidding.
It sounded like you're talking about Aussie rules football, mixing in 150 points.
I mean, that's a great sport too. Let's talk about great sports. Aussie rules football is excellent.
Do you know how fun that is? Drunk at 4:00 in the morning. It's great.
I mean, I think it's fun at any time. You can watch some good Aussie rules. So.
It always sucked when Fox would go on and cover this year. They're probably not showing the games right now because they have the Euros and have Copa America, but it always would suck because you want to get to see the games.
Yes.
Fox wasn't airing them on Fox 1 at 4:00 in the morning.
Time difference is really hard to do too, Tony. So
that's what I'm saying. It's 4 here, be 5 for you.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. Go ahead, Tom. Sounds like you're about to close this bad boy out.
So, Tony, before we go, is there anything you'd like to say to your fans?
Nope.
Have a good night, everyone.